$750 million company providing safe, affordable food products, premium beverages, hardware, housewares, pharmaceuticals, hospital equipment, and supplies in 26 countries across the globe. Our journey has its beginnings in the coconut industry and along the way has grown to span 9 diverse food subsidiaries in Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Cayman Islands. We are proud to be recognized as Jamaica's largest food manufacturer, playing a major role in regional distribution and exports. Our Jamaica operations feature 4 food manufacturing plants and our dairy farms. In Trinidad, our manufacturing focus is on pharmaceuticals, producing top quality home and healthcare products. Seprod produces some of the most beloved brands in the region, reaching households across the Caribbean, Latin America, United States, Canada, and the UK. Seprod prides itself on being able to deliver top quality products through our amazing partnerships with many global brands. Surge Island Farms is the largest dairy farm in the English-speaking Caribbean. We believe that by providing good quality food products to our people, we are playing our part in developing a great nation. The health and safety of our people are the top priorities for us at Seprod. And through our healthcare solutions arm, Facey Pharmaceuticals, we continue to provide some of the world's best healthcare solutions. Facey Pharmaceutical has over 90 years experience in the pharmaceutical industry, building strong collaborative partnerships within the local health sector. These partnerships allow us to expand our footprint in the region to improve the lives of our Caribbean families while driving further growth for our business. 2022 marked a significant phase in the Seprod journey. Through the acquisition of the AS Brighton Group, the company has now expanded operations in several countries within the Caribbean, which practically doubled the size of our operations. This acquisition will become the platform for further growth in the Caribbean and Latin American markets. The Seprod Group's mantra is must be good. While we have continued to manufacture and distribute top quality products, we remain committed to our corporate social responsibility values by providing support through Seprod Foundation. We operate on 3 distinctive pillars: education, food security, and community upliftment. Our mission is to pioneer innovative programs that not only impart knowledge but leave a lasting impact on the lives of Jamaicans. We are proud to be a major sponsor of the Jamaican Sunshine Girls and their bronze medal run at the 2023 Netball World Cup. The Seprod Group, with humble beginnings in the small island nation of Jamaica, is now a regional player in food and pharmaceutical manufacturing as well as distribution. For further information, please visit us at www.seprod.com. And remember, if it's made by Seprod, it must be good. With over 4,000 employees and 85 years of doing good things, the Seprod Group is a US $750 million company providing safe, affordable food products, premium beverages, hardware, housewares, pharmaceuticals, hospital equipment, and supplies in 26 countries across the globe. Our journey has its beginnings in the coconut industry and along the way has grown to span 9 diverse food subsidiaries in Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Cayman Islands. We are proud to be recognized as Jamaica's largest food manufacturer, playing a major role in regional distribution and exports. Our Jamaica operations feature 4 food manufacturing plants and/or dairy farms. In Trinidad, our manufacturing focus is on pharmaceuticals, producing top quality home and healthcare products. Seprod produces some of the most beloved brands in the region, reaching households across the Caribbean, Latin America, the United States, Canada, and the UK. Seprod prides itself on being able to deliver top quality products through our amazing partnerships with many global brands. Surge Island Farms is the largest dairy farm in the English-speaking Caribbean. We believe that by providing good quality food products to our people, we're playing our part in developing a great nation. The health and safety of our people are top priorities for us at Seprod. And through our healthcare solutions arm, Basic Pharmaceuticals, we continue to provide some of the world's best healthcare solutions. Basic Pharmaceutical has over 90 years experience in the pharmaceutical industry, building strong collaborative partnerships within the local health sector. These partnerships allow us to expand our footprint in the region to improve the lives of our Caribbean families while driving further growth for our business. 2022 marked a significant phase in the Seprod journey. Through the acquisition of the AS Brighton Group, the company has now expanded operations in several countries within the Caribbean, which practically doubled the size of our operations. This acquisition will become the platform for further growth in the Caribbean and Latin American markets. The Seprod Group's mantra is must be good. While we have continued to manufacture and distribute top quality products, we remain committed to our corporate social responsibility values. By providing support through Seprod Foundation, we operate on 3 distinctive pillars: education, food security, and community upliftment. Our mission is to pioneer innovative programs that not only impart knowledge but leave a lasting impact on the lives of Jamaicans. We are proud to be a major sponsor of the Jamaican Sunshine Girls and their bronze medal run at the 2023 Netball World Cup. The Seprod Group, with humble beginnings in the small island nation of Jamaica, is now a regional player in food and pharmaceutical manufacturing as well as distribution. For further information, please visit us at www.seprod.com. And remember, if it's made by Seprod, it must be good. With over 4,000 employees and 85 years of doing good things, the Seprod Group is a US $750 million company providing safe, affordable food products, premium beverages, hardware, housewares, pharmaceuticals, hospital equipment, and supplies in 26 countries across the globe. Our journey has its beginnings in the coconut industry and along the way has grown to span 9 diverse food subsidiaries in Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Cayman Islands. We are proud to be recognized as Jamaica's largest food manufacturer, playing a major role in regional distribution and exports. Our Jamaica operations feature 4 food manufacturing plants and/or dairy farms. In Trinidad, our manufacturing focus is on pharmaceuticals, producing top quality home and healthcare products. Seprod produces some of the most beloved brands in the region, reaching households across the Caribbean, Latin America, the United States, Canada, and the UK. Seprod prides itself on being able to deliver top quality products through our amazing partnerships with many global brands. Surge Island Farms is the largest dairy farm in the English-speaking Caribbean. We believe that by providing good quality food products to our people, we're playing our part in developing a great nation. The health and safety of our people are top priorities for us at Seprod. And through our healthcare solutions arm, Facey Pharmaceuticals, we continue to provide some of the world's best healthcare solutions. Facey Pharmaceutical has over 90 years' experience in the pharmaceutical industry, building strong collaborative partnerships within the local health sector. These partnerships allow us to expand our footprint in the region to improve the lives of our Caribbean families while driving further growth for our business. 2022 marked a significant phase in the Seprod journey. Through the acquisition of the AS Brighton Group, the company has now expanded operations in several countries within the Caribbean, which practically doubled the size of our operations. This acquisition will become the platform for further growth in the Caribbean and Latin American markets. The Seprod Group's mantra is must be good. While we have continued to manufacture and distribute top quality products, we remain committed to our corporate social responsibility values. By providing support through Seprod Foundation, we operate on three distinctive pillars: education, food security, and community upliftment. Our mission is to pioneer innovative programs that not only impart knowledge but leave a lasting impact on the lives of Jamaicans. We are proud to be a major sponsor of the Jamaican Sunshine Girls and their bronze medal run at the 2023 Netball World Cup. The Seprod Group, with humble beginnings in the small island nation of Jamaica, is now a regional.
Well, so, ready? Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome. I will welcome everyone to the meeting, those that are here physically, and also the people that are online. All our shareholders, employees, stakeholders, welcome to the annual general meeting of Seprod. I would like to have the corporate secretary come up and read the notice of the meeting, deliver apologies for absence, and also the receipt of proxies. Mr. Secretary?
Good morning, everyone. Notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 85th annual general meeting of Seprod Limited will be held at the Turnover All Suite Hotel, 17 Waterloo Road, Kingston 10, on July 15, 2024, at 10 a.m. The meeting will be held in a hybrid format, physical and virtual, for transacting the following businesses. 1, to receive the audited accounts and the reports of the directors and auditors. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution: that the directors' report, the auditors' report, and the audited accounts for the year ended December 31, 2023 be and are hereby adopted. Okay, so I'm just giving a notice. The chairman will actually move for them to be passed later on in the meeting. Okay. 2, to elect directors. The directors retiring from office by rotation, pursuant to Articles 89 and 91 of the company's Articles of Association, are Mrs. Melanie Sobrati and Mr. Byron Thompson, who, being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. Resolution 2A, that the directors retiring from office by rotation and offering themselves for re-election be elected en bloc. Resolution 2B, that Mrs. Melanie Sobrati and Mr. Byron Thompson be re-elected as directors. 3, to fix the remuneration of directors. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution: that the amount shown in the audited accounts as directors' remuneration for the year ended 31st December 2023 be and is hereby approved. 4, to appoint auditors and to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. Resolution 4A, that PricewaterhouseCoopers have indicated their willingness to continue in office as auditors, be reappointed auditors for the ensuing year. And Resolution 4B, that the directors be authorized to agree the remuneration of the auditors. Number 5, to transact any other business which may properly be transacted at an annual general meeting. The notice is dated 22nd day of April 2024 by order of the board and signed by yours truly. Apologies for absence. There are no apologies for absence from the meeting. And the list of proxies are Morrison Jamaica Limited in favor of Paul Scott or Melanie Subrati. Spacey Group Limited in favor of Paul Scott or Melanie Subrati. Coconut Industry Board in favor of Christopher Gentles or Nicholas Jones. Gary Masado in favor of Jeffrey Masado. Sagicor Pool Investments Fund, trading at Sagicor Pool Equity, and that's in favor of Robert McKenzie or Kesley Taylor. And I have 9 funds that are where the investment manager is Sagicor Life Jamaica Limited. These are First Jamaica / National Housing Trust Pension Fund, Digicel Jamaica Pension Fund, Heart Trust / NTA Pension Scheme, Jamaica Church Pension Fund, JCSD Trustee Services Limited / Sigma Equity, Round Table Nominees Limited, IBM Pension Fund, Lascelles Demarcado Defined Contribution Fund, First Jamaica / UHWI Pension Scheme, and these are all in favor of Robert McKenzie or Kesley Taylor. Okay. That's it. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Whoops, thank you. Thank you very much. I now move that the director's report that is in the annual report be taken as read. Move. Thank you very much. Seconded by Mr. Wesley Thomas. Mr. Richard Pandui, CEO, will now give his report on the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just allow everyone to be allowed to take their seats. I mean, quite a few people came in at the last minute. Hear me clearly? Yeah. All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed shareholders, valued partners, both in presence and online, my Seprod colleagues, quite a few of whom are present, I greet you well. Interesting fact that I found out last night while trying to do this, that over the last 5 years, there has been a 24% increase in the number of shareholders. That indicates that our community has become even more attractive. And so I'm good to see this turnout here on both online. That's a good sign, Chairman. Now, I'm honored to stand before you today to report that your company has delivered another year of strong results, which have been extensively documented in the annual report, which I hope everybody has one, and I trust that you would have all the opportunity to read it. Now, over the last 10 years, the key point that I pulled out of it was over the last 10 years, 2014 to 2023, the results have been satisfying. Revenue has increased from $11.9 billion annually to over $112 billion. Pretty much what we used to make in a year is what we're making in a month now. Operating profit has grown from 1.5 to 8.7 billion. Profit before taxation, PBT, has increased from 1.2 billion to 5.6 billion. There's been a phenomenal growth in export sales from less than $500 million in 2013 to over $5.3 billion at the end of 2023. The AGM, the AGM is very important. And by the way, I hope you noticed something. Our AGM is a lot earlier this year than previous years. Typically, it's in September, we're having it in July. By the time you come to September, the truth is we're already done 2024 into September. We're well into 2025. So it becomes very historical and backward looking. And we're trying to pull the AGM much closer in the year so we can have a more forward-looking conversation, all right? So I hope shareholders will appreciate the timing and thank you for supporting the new timeline. Now, over the past years, we have made significant strides in improving our operation efficiency, investing in our people, and integrating acquired companies. You recall that in June 2022, June 16th actually, 2022, we acquired the Bridens Group in Trinidad. We actually celebrated our 2 years anniversary last month. As we look to the future, we're poised for substantial growth over the next 5 years, with our priorities being, one, our continued investment in new technology and infrastructure to drive profitability and productivity. More than $2.7 billion was spent in capital expenditure in 2023, and already over $5 billion have been committed in 2024. Secondly, massively expanding our innovation pipeline, not just in products, but also in processes. Three, focusing on human capital, especially our drive to have our people certified and populating the organization with STEM talent. In fact, we actually introduced a new position in the group, Chief Strategy Officer for Human Capital. Changing our focus from just human resources to actually treating our people in a very different way and looking at the organization in a very different way. Four, strengthening our partnerships and embedding acquisitions that will accelerate our growth trajectory in the domestic and export markets. Last AGM, I stated that our ambition is to be a US $1 billion company by 2026. I think we're well on track to meet that target. And five, to adapt our environment and infrastructure to deal with climate change. It's interesting that this is a discussion point that would not have been at an AGM in prior years, but climate change is real. It's affecting us. And on that note, I want to express condolences to all the persons, individual and businesses, and our farmers who have been affected by Hurricane Beryl over the last week. And I also want to shout out to our foundation, led by our chair, Melanie Seprod, who last week, while we're actively trying to support people in relief, we're also fully aware that a key part of this is to get our production back going again. And the Seprod Foundation has partnered with a couple of other agencies to actually put grants to the farmers to get them back in the fields. Now, all the above will allow us to be more resilient and more forward-thinking, and to continue to be even more relevant to our consumers of today and tomorrow. And that relevance to consumers is critical to the sustainability of the business. We have great brands. But the truth is, just like jobs, they said the jobs of 20 years ago have all but disappeared in today's world. The products of today may not be the products of tomorrow. We have aging population, nutritional requirements are different. And therefore, we have to make sure our organization, our products, our portfolio is adjusting to not just to meet the present demand, but also future requirement. While our mandate is to create value for our shareholders, that's a mandate, we are nonetheless deeply aware that our responsibility to prioritize sustainability, social responsibility, and philanthropy, recognizing our impact on the environment and communities we serve. In this regard, we're particularly proud of the work that our foundation has been doing, and I encourage you to read about their work in the annual reports, extensively documented. We look to the future with confidence because we have a solid strategy that we have been executing consistently against. We have a fantastic board, an inspiring chairman, and congratulations to him on his national awards, well deserved. We have over 4,000 team members and over 6,000 cows that are working every day to deliver amazing products and experiences to our consumers. Every year we forget our cows. This year they said to me, Richard, make sure we're up there, all right? Thank you, shareholders, for your trust and ongoing support. We stand committed as a management team to deliver inspiring results. I mean, this is more than just delivering. I mean, we have evolved. We have evolved as we know. We started this journey. I mean, the chairman and I remember 8, 9 years ago, it's his 10th year. We were very domestic, and we wanted to get into the regional space. I know we want to get into the Caribbean space. We want to get into Latin America. Growth is important. Consolidation is important. Reducing the complexity of the Caribbean is important. And we believe that will create value for all of us. I mean, we want this organization, we want everyone associated with this organization to be proud. not just because of the results we deliver, because of the leadership and the way we are helping to shape our society and creating a sense of pride for our people. We can be world-class in whatever we do. Our origin does not determine how we are to be perceived. We will compete just like our athletes at the Olympic. We're coming from small environment, but we're going to be global world beaters. Thank you very much. Bless up.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Mr. Paul Williams, I will ask you now to read the auditor's report. Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman. Good morning. Independence Auditor's Report to the members of Seprod Limited. Report on the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement. Our opinion. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements and the standalone financial statement give a true and fair view of the consolidated financial position of Seprod Limited, the company, and its subsidiary together, the group, and the standalone financial position of the company as of 31st December 2023, and of their consolidated and standalone financial performance and their consolidated and standalone cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standard with the requirement of the Jamaican Companies Act. We have audited the group consolidated and standalone financial statement comprise the consolidated statement of financial position as of 31st December 2023, the consolidated statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of cash flow for the year then ended, the company statement of financial position as of 31st December 2023, the company statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the company statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the company statement of cash flow for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statement comprising material accounting policies information and other explanatory information. Basis for opinion. We have conducted our audit in accordance with International Standard on Auditing, ISAs. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement section of our report. We believe the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Independence. We are independent of the group in accordance with International Code of Ethics for the Professional Accountant, including International Independence Standard issued by the International Ethics Standard Board of Accountants, the IESBA code. We have fulfilled all of the ethical responsibility in accordance with the said code. Our audit approach. Audit scope. As part of designing our audit, we determine the materiality and assess the risks of material misstatement in the consolidated and standalone financial statement. In particular, we consider where management made subjective judgment, for example, in respect of significant accounting estimates that involve making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all our audit, we also address the risks of management override of internal controls, including, among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represented a risk of material misstatement due to fraud. Or we tailor our group audit scope. We tailor the scope of our audit in accordance in order to perform sufficient work to enable us to provide an opinion on the consolidated financial statement as a whole, taking into account the structure of the group, the accounting processes and control, and the industry in which the group operates. In assessing the risks of material misstatement of the group consolidated financial statement, and to ensure we have adequate coverage of significant accounts in the consolidated statement, we design and perform our procedures over various components. The group comprised 36 reporting components, of which we selected 27 components, which represent the principal business unit within the group and covers entity in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Dominican Republic, Guyana, and St. Vincent. Of the 27 components selected, we perform an audit of the complete financial information of 22 components, which were selected based on their size, risk characteristic for both. For the remaining 5 components, we perform audit procedures on specific accounts or specified procedure within the component that we consider had the potential of the greatest impact on the significant accounts in the consolidated financial statement, either due to their size of these accounts or their risk profile. In relation to the remaining component, none of which are individually greater than 2% of the group profit before tax, we perform other procedures, including analytical review procedures and testing of consolidated journal, intercompany eliminations, and foreign currency translation recalculations to respond to any potential risk of material misstatement to the group consolidated financial statement. For components that are scoped out of the group audit, we use component auditors from PwC network firm and non-PwC firms who are familiar with the local laws and regulation to perform this audit work. Throughout the audit, we had regular meetings, correspondence with management and component audit team to follow up on progress of work for all components. The group engagement team review working papers relating to the audit approach and findings of the component auditors. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that in our professional judgment were of most significant in our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement as a whole, and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate audit opinion on these matters. The first key audit matter relates to the valuation of unquoted equity security in the group and the company, referred to notes 2H, 4, and 17 to the consolidated and standalone financial statement for disclosure relating accounting policies, judgment, and estimates. Unquoted security included within the investment of the consolidated and standalone financial statement of the financial position total $1.75 billion as of 31st December 2023 for both the group and the company, which represent 1.68% and 2.47% of total assets, respectively. The unquoted equity security relate to an investment in an affiliated company over which Seprod does not exercise significant influence. These securities are not quoted in an active market. The fair value of these securities is determined by management using a valuation model based on discounted future cash flows. We focus on this area because of the magnitude of the balance, the complexity of the valuation model used, and the use of management determined assumptions. The key assumptions were assessed by management as being the investee future cash flows, the terminal growth rate, the discount rate, and the market participant minority discount. Management used an independent valuation expert to assist in the valuation process. How our audits address these key audit matters. Our approach to addressing the matter with the assistance of our valuation expert involved the following procedures, among others. Update our understanding and evaluated management future cash flows, forecasts, and the process by which they were determined, including testing the underlying calculations and comparing them to the latest board-approved report of the investee. We also compare prior management budget to actual results of the investee to evaluate the reliability of management forecast process. We also tested management key assumptions as follows. We compare forecasts long-term growth rate to historical results and economic industry forecasts. We also evaluated management assumption concerning the selected growth rate, the terminal growth rate, the discount rate, and market participant minority discount by reference to relevant industry and other externally derived data where available, including market expectation of the investment return, projected economic growth, and the interest rate, and sensitize management plan growth rate to cash flow and changes in the discount rate. Based on the results of our procedures performed, management's valuation of unquoted equity security was, in our view, not unreasonable. The second key audit matter, goodwill impairment at the group level, refer to notes 2F, 4, and 16 of the consolidated financial statement for disclosure of related accounting policies and balances. As of 31st December, the group carried a significant amount of goodwill amounting to $5.9 billion. In line with IAS 36, impairment of asset, management perform an annual impairment assessment of goodwill. The recoverable amount of each cash-generating unit, the CGU, is calculated as the higher of the value in use and the fair value less cost of disposal. Management determined the recoverable amount by reference to the value in use, which was derived using discounted cash flow approach, where management makes significant judgment on key inputs and assumptions, including the discount rate and growth rate. We focus on this area because of the significant level of judgment required in arriving at the key assumptions used in management impairment assessments. Our audit approach addressed this key audit matter by with the assistance of our internal expert involved in the following procedures, among others. We obtain an understanding of the method used by management to perform its goodwill impairment assessment and assess whether they were in compliance with IAS 36. We recalculated the weighted average cost of capital using the discount, the expected cash flow, and evaluate those rates against observable market-based input and our knowledge of the economic environment. We also assess the assumptions, including the growth rate, by reference to historical performance of the CGU and relevant external economic industry data. We tested the mathematical accuracy of management impairment calculation and compare management's future cash flow forecast using the impairment calculation to those approved by the board of directors as part of the annual budgeting process and strategic plans. Based on the results of our procedures performed, management goodwill impairment assessment conclusion was, in our view, not unreasonable. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report, but does not include the consolidated and standalone financial statement and our audit report thereon, which is expected to be made available to us after the date of this audit report. Our opinion on the consolidated and standalone financial statement does not cover other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the consolidation and standalone financial statement, our responsibility is to read the other information, identify above when it becomes available, and in so doing consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the consolidated and standalone financial statement or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appear to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibilities of those charged with governance for the consolidated and standalone financial statement. Management is responsible for the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statement that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS accounting standard and with the requirement of the Jamaican Companies Act, and for such internal controls as management determined is necessary to enable the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statement that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated and standalone financial statement, management is responsible for assessing the group and company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters relating to the going concern and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intend to liquidate the group or the company or cease operation or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the group and the company financial reporting process. Auditor's responsibility of the consolidated and standalone financial statement. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated and standalone financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an audit report that include our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatement can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of a user taken on the basis of these consolidated and standalone financial statements. As part of the audit in accordance with ISA, we exercise professional judgment, maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risks of material misstatement of the consolidated and standalone financial statement, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omission, misrepresentation, or the override of internal controls. Obtain an understanding of the internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate to the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the group and company internal controls. We evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosure by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast doubt on the group and the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our audit report to the related disclosure of the consolidated and standalone financial statement, or if such disclosure are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our audit report. However, future events or conditions may cause the group or the company to cease to continue as a going concern. We evaluate the overall presentation, structure, content of the consolidated and standalone financial statement, including the disclosure, and whether the consolidated and standalone financial statement represent the underlying transaction and events in a manner that achieve fair presentation. Obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or business activities within the group to express an opinion on the consolidated financial statement. We are responsible for the direction, supervision, performance of the group audit. We remain solely responsible for our audit opinion. We communicate to those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. We also provide to those charged with governance with a statement that we have complied with the relevant ethical requirement regarding independence and to communicate with them all relationship on other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear our independence and whether applicable action taken to eliminate threats or safeguard applied. From matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determined those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement of the current period and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe those matters in our audit report unless law or regulations precludes public disclosure about the matters or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that that matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept so far as, from our examination of those records and the accompanying consolidated and standalone financial statement, are in agreement therewith and give true the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in a manner so required. The engagement partner on the audit resulted in this independent audit report is Paul Williams, signed PricewaterhouseCoopers Chartered Accountant, Kingston, Jamaica, the 15th of March, 2024. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you. That was very well done. With that, I open the floor to questions with regard to last year's performance and the report. Do we have any questions from the floor? Yes, sir. Yes. Do we have a microphone for the gentleman? Mr. Stapleton? It's good to see you
Mr.
back
Chair.
here, Mr. Stapleton, looking well.
Staple. Howard Staple is my name.
Yes, Staples, yes.
I would like to put a few questions before my general questions.
Okay,
First of
but
all,
no,
fir-
but there's going to be a lot of questions. So can you we'll come back to you. So how many questions do you have?
I have about 4 questions.
Okay, all right.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Pandui and his team for the
Not
significant-
Ponzi, just to be clear. Yeah,
Pandui
yeah.
and his team for the significant contribution they have made and for what was done during 2023. It's very challenging, Mr. Chair, very challenging. And I hope that this challenge will continue.
I hope
And,
not. Well, I hope it's less challenging going forward. Absolutely.
And I hope that Mr. Pandu and his team will continue to do the good work that they have been doing. Congratulations,
Yes.
Mr. Pandu. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I noticed that your revenue increased significantly year over year, 22 over 23. And your expenses increased also significantly. What are we doing in 2023 or in 2024 to reduce that expenses so that our profit can be better managed? What are we doing?
Well, we're always evaluating the expenses. I think that at the end of the day, a lot of the expenses, we're making investments in our people, in our infrastructure, and as we're growing, our expenses will naturally grow with the revenue. So while we are always trying to manage our expenses to ensure that we make the right decisions and allocate resources appropriately. I would expect expenses will continue to rise. I mean, we're in an inflationary environment, or at least we were in 2023. The business is going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to probably acquire new businesses that will be consolidated, and those expenses will consolidate up into the expenses of the company.
Mr. Chair, we noticed that
Chair, if I'm just want to point out one thing. So in last AGM, recall that we're making significant investment in our oil and margarine plant at Caribbean Products Limited. A substantial amount of expense would have been incurred in 2023 while we upgraded that facility. That has now been completed as of early this year. So that would have been a big contributor to the expense line. At the end of it, I'm proud to report to shareholders that we are the regional producer for the largest margarine company in the world. And that is something that we could not have done without those investments.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, am I to understand that in 2024, the effort will be increased in getting our company to be more profitable?
Every day, every single day, the team is very focused on delivering value to the shareholders.
Because, Mr. Chair, what we are looking for as small investors,
Yeah.
we are looking for a higher income from in form of dividend payments. We think that the company can give us, as smaller investors, a higher dividend payment than what has been done during the year. Am I correct?
I think if you look at the record, the dividend has been increasing over the years. It's likely that it will. We're unlikely to make decisions about our dividend payment based upon making investors or retail investors or any other type of investor happy. We essentially have significant development and growth plans, which require us to retain a significant amount of our cash flow to reinvest in the business. And we are balancing that on an ongoing basis between delivering shareholder value to the shareholders. That comes in many forms. That comes in the improvement of the value of the business over time, which has nothing to do with the dividend. And it also comes in terms of gradually increasing the dividend every single year, which I think you would know has been the historic case, and we do not expect that to change in the future.
Mr. Chair, if you turn me to page 98, staff cost remove was increased from 7 million to 11 million. What accounted for this significant change?
So, sorry, what are you referring to? Staff costs increasing from 7 to 11, yeah. So remember, we just celebrated 2 years of consolidating AS Brydens, which was concluded in May in 2022. So we would have not had in 2022 a full year of AS Brydens, whereas in 2023 we certainly would have had a full year.
What accounts for this other, moving from 895 to 948 million? What accounted for that?
I'll get back to you on that. I don't know what accounted for that. Do you have any further questions?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions from the floor? Yes. A mic is coming for you.
Thank you. I'm asking, can I make comments as well?
Could you say your name first, please?
Okay, I'm Lauren Nacheta. I'm a shareholder.
Welcome.
Okay, I'd just like to say good morning, everyone, and to commend Seprod, the board and everyone for the excellent work you're doing, because I hear Mr. Pandoy saying that they're making years a month, amount in a month, 112, what is it? Billion in a month. That is really
That's
growing by leaps and bounds, and that is very good, excellent. But what I want to do now is, I have 2 points or 2 comments. I want to commend Mr. Pandoy for his excellent work with TBC. I know TBC has already probably thanked him, but TBC and RAIN, Freedom Come RAIN.
yeah. Is your microphone on? You might need turning on.
Okay, you're asking what TBC,
Okay.
Tarrant Baptist Church, and Freedom Come RAIN Ministries. He has
Okay.
been a stalwart in helping through that ministry, and because that is my space, and I'm a part of this company as a shareholder, so I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Pandoy, I think the word of God says that those who lend to the poor, they give to God. And so in return, you will, so maybe that's why you're getting this 112 billion, in a month instead of a year. I also want to commend Mr. Pandoy for his, what you'd call merry heart. He has a good heart. You never see him without that smile. I don't know what is happening this morning, but that smile makes a good heart. And he's really doing what we call the work of charity,
Right.
Charity, which is really giving back, social, social
Okay.
commitment.
That's wonderful. And,
Yes.
and well done, Richard.
And I also, in the same breath, that's my first point, want to
Right.
commend you for your Order of Jamaica
That's very
insignia.
kind. Thank you.
Yes, and I hope that the other unsung heroes among us, including Mr. Pandoy,
Right.
will also get theirs in a short time. Okay.
I'd pray for him.
My next is going back now. It seems that Mr. Pandoy has a way of coming up just before the meeting. There's something that is happening at TBC. And so this year he came up now talking about the lands that the government is using, the farmlands that they're using for housing. And so he's advocating that we return to our farmlands, because with what has happened with the onslaught of Beryl, we really need those farmlands. We don't need houses there. And so I remember he saying to me last year that it is hard to live in Jamaica. And I think it is even more harder now to live in Jamaica with the onslaught of Beryl. And so we need our farm communities.
Okay. Do you have a question? I
Yes,
hear what you're saying. But
that's what I'm saying. Comments. It's not really.
Everybody,
good morning.
Wesley Thomas, shareholder. Just one question, sir. Your export sales has increased from 500 million Jamaican to 5.36 billion, which is a huge growth. I just want to know, how did you get to that figure? From 500 million to 5.36 billion. How did you get to that? Did you tap into other countries? I just want to know. Yeah.
Well, I think for Seprod, exports have been a focus for some time. At least in the last 10 years, we've consistently said that we see the Caribbean region as our domestic market. Locally, you categorize it as exports if you're sending product to Trinidad or Barbados or Guyana, but we consider our products should be as prevalent in Georgetown or Bridgetown or Port of Spain as they should be in Manor Park or in Mandeville. And we take that very seriously, and we hope that as we build out our distribution platform, the building out of the distribution platform across the region allows us to leverage it in order to sell our products that we manufacture, that we own the brands of, into that platform. I think the CEO has a great team on the export side. When you have a level of intensity around delivering outcomes, and that helps. Richard, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Chairman, so just to support the point though, so the export business is, as the chairman said, trying to get our brands everywhere, the diaspora markets, new markets. However, I want to point out that what we also pride ourselves on is being co-producing for other people, co-manufacturing. So it's not necessarily only our brands, but we're producing for other people. We've had some phenomenal achievement over the last few years. I remember when, give an example, when Starbucks went into coffee cans, all the can capacity went on the States. We are producing in Jamaica for companies in the US canned products. I mean, we are producing for some of the largest companies in Jamaica, who are significant producers for them of their brands. And I mean, part of that comes from the fact we're making investment. And one thing that we have to evolve in the Caribbean is that we can't all be replicating the same investment, right? And you just have too much capacity. They start taking value out of the market. So I think there's a level of maturity developing in the region where if you make the investment, then you're allowed to produce for the other person. So that is also a big part. We spoke about the margarine plant. Our general manager, Marilyn Anderson, here. I mean, the volume in that plant has grown over 100%. It's not our brands, it's other people's brands that we're growing. And that continues to be the focus. The chairman and I spend a lot of time in another country in the Caribbean. We don't want to disclose, but we're literally going to be producing for another country, but under somebody else's brand. So we're producing, we're exporting not just our own brands, but also for, we'll call it co-manufacturing. And that's a big driver of the numbers you see.
Mr. Thomas, we have to be world-class. You know, the reality is that, and this goes back to the decision of how we allocate resources. And yes, we are committed to increasing our dividend in a manner, but we're also very, very focused on our cash flow generation in order to be able to invest in the machinery that allows us to be world-class. At the end of the day, if you talk about productivity, yes, it's about people. You need to have great people. You need to train people. You need to invest in people. But it's also about delivering the tools to the people to be able to do the job appropriately. So if you have a brand new margarine plant that can pack at 3 times the speed of something that you had previously, that alone can't work without the people being able to use the machinery. But productivity is what we need to be focusing on. And we have to be able to invest in best of class and then leverage that infrastructure and find sales. And whether that is Canada, North America, or contract packing regionally as a CARICOM packer, et cetera, we have to go out and find that business. And we expect, obviously, the world outside of Jamaica is huge. The world in Jamaica is, you know, so the opportunity outside Jamaica is far bigger than it really is inside Jamaica. And if we really want to develop and grow, we have to focus on what's outside. Yes, at the back.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for your talk today. It's been really interesting. So my name's Rakani Phillipson, and I'm the founder and CEO and managing director of Reconnect JA, which is a non-profit based in the UK, and we help young people in the UK with Jamaican parents, grandparents reconnect to Jamaica. So you were just talking a minute ago about kind of the world outside of Jamaica. Obviously, as an organization, you're interested in profit, the brand, making sure that people know about you across the world. And I was just wondering, in terms of the diaspora, there's been a lot of talk about engaging the diaspora. And I was wondering if there's been any kind of thoughts about that within the organization, specifically because young people, at least in the UK, there was a statistic, saying 55% of young people are trying to kind of reconnect and basically visit their countries of descent. So I was just wondering if that's something that you're interested in tapping into.
for Jamaica to grow, for us to develop, whether we have capacity and capability coming to Jamaica to work from the diaspora, or whether it comes from India, or it comes from Africa, or anywhere in Africa, or wherever it comes from, Jamaica needs people. We have to obviously engage. We have products that we are selling in Toronto and in the US and in the UK, and we're constantly engaging with our consumers there. In terms of how individuals who have left Jamaica and are trying to connect, I think it's super important that those that have left can come back and contribute. We need people to contribute. We need people in Jamaica. When you consider that our migration rate is so high, it's so high, and our birth rate has fallen dramatically, and as a result of that, we're not producing. Our population growth is not there, and when you combine that with migration, you're replacing people in the workforce with babies. So we need to find a way to bring capacity and capability to our economy. And, one way is to try and attract people to come back to Jamaica. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit more challenging, I suppose, because the people that are in England or have made already a decision to leave, and they have set up themselves in another country. But that is something that is going to be great for Jamaica. If people want to come back to Jamaica, it's going to be phenomenal. Hopefully you can do a good job in persuading them.
Hopefully, thank you very much. Thanks.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Douglas Wilson, shareholder.
Good morning, Mr. Winston.
I'm very impressed with the performance. I know you have a number of different locations, plants. I'm just interested in knowing the possibility of shareholders getting a tour of one or some of the plants sometime during the year,
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. Richard, we could arrange that.
So that was that point was actually raised at last year AGM.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the back end of COVID, etc. So we're obviously very, very concerned about making sure we kind of kept our plants as they were. I mean, but yeah, I think it's been raised enough time where we probably can find a way to do it in a way that makes sense. Probably smaller groups over time, but we're very pleased with our facility, and we like to share. You're the owners. It's your right to understand what's happening in a very responsible way. So we can make that happen, Chairman, and we'll work our way out and get back to the shareholders on that. For the ones who have an interest, right, we have to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we would love to do that. We'd proudly show you the plant. Yes, sir.
You mind if I sit, sir?
Certainly, please. Whatever makes you comfortable.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the company on the tremendous job it's doing. The last time, I said I'd like to congratulate yourself on your company, and Mr. Pandui especially, for the tremendous work he's doing. On behalf of sharing with the shareholders here, I just want to say that the last time I looked at the Daily Gleaner, your dividend was the third highest of all the markets on the stock exchange. No, not that I don't want it to be the highest, but I'm very satisfied with the 71 cents that it was showed played out in Gleaner recently. So congratulations, and continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, sir, the last time I recall that there was a 600,000 extra shares which were supposed to be put on the market for Seprod. I'm sorry,
I think it's 600 million shares.
Sorry.
The authorized the
My own age,
increase. Yes.
So it's 600 million.
I think it's 600 or 500.
Can you update us on that, please? Can you update us on that? Please?
Sure, certainly. So last AGM, I believe we approved the increase, and we're not looking to do an APO. That's not what we're looking to do. We are growing our business, and when I say we're not looking to do an APO, I'm saying we're not looking to do an APO as I speak on the stage right now. I'm not saying never that it's not possible. But we felt that it was important to have the flexibility to be able to look at transactions and grow our business. And there are many ways to do that. You can acquire businesses through borrowing money or using cash that you have, or you could utilize shares that you can issue. And we felt that it would be prudent to have that available for us if we saw an opportunity come to the board. And I think, last week we announced a subsidiary of Seprod made a significant acquisition. And, that's an example of where something like that could have happened through Seprod, but it in that case happened through AS Bridens. But we are still always looking and evaluating opportunities.
Thank you.
So, sorry, Deming, do you have something to say?
No, just for record, there were 220 million authorized shares.
It's 220.
220 million.
Yeah.
Right.
220.
Mr. Chair, the question arises, where are those shares now?
So they're not issued. They're
Not yet
issued.
issued.
No. All it is increasing the ability for the board to issue the shares if it sees it appropriate to do so. But it gives us the flexibility to do that. We would not, as a shareholder and as a significant shareholder, I myself and our company Mossen, we would most definitely not be issuing shares to dilute our own shareholding unless it was very value accretive and an excellent transaction. So we would be most aligned in that. Any more questions from the floor? There's a lady in the front here.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning.
Shareholder Nicola Borley. 2 quick questions. On page 99,
Yep.
note 10, taxation expense. Can you just give me a little idea of what is urban renewal tax credit? What does that entail?
Yeah, so when you invest in an area that is effectively within the urban renewal boundaries, you're entitled to certain tax credits that you have to apply for. And then after they've been approved by, I believe, the UDC, Ministry of Finance and Tax Authority, and the TAJ, that it's quite a long process, but we have been investing quite a significant amount of money in the new warehouse, for example, and various different projects within the boundaries of that, in the downtown area, and that's where that came from.
Okay, so that's like an ongoing scheme of yours, so to speak, or intent?
Well, I'm not too familiar if it still is in existence as of right now. I think there was a timeline on the
Right. I think the government is in the process of phasing it out to bring a new regime, but they haven't done so as yet.
Okay.
And
But it's
my-
not an ongoing,
Going,
it's
okay.
like when you build a warehouse or a factory and then it's a project and then a whole process to go
Right,
through
but you
it.
mentioned, I think you're moving from 2 billion to 5 billion capital expenditure. So I just wondered if it was going to be an ongoing.
No, I think that's what we've already spent, the 5 billion.
Meant and
You're right.
Okay.
a number
Yeah.
of things.
All right,
Yeah.
got you. My other question, just for clarification, page 96. Note 5, business segments. On the manufacture, first there is the second line item, inter-segment revenue. And on the manufacturing, I see the same figures on the eliminations. Can you clarify
That's
that
because
line item, please?
That's because our manufacturing businesses sell a lot to our own businesses. So on consolidation, we eliminate the intercompany revenue.
Okay, thank you.
So the numbers should be the same.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we have an array of hands over here. Staples, I will get back to you after these.
Morning, fellow shareholders. My name is Muriel Bailey. I'm a shareholder. I have two quick questions. One is concerning sugar. Are you actually doing sugar now? I noticed you had reported that you had some leased sugar lands some time ago. I don't know. Are you actually doing sugar now?
Yeah, so we have sugar planted. We're not manufacturing sugar anymore. We closed the sugar facility maybe 4 years ago.
Right, over in St. Thomas,
Yeah,
right?
in St. Thomas. yeah.
Okay, so you've planted sugar with the intention to...
Well, we're feeding cattle. We're evaluating what we're going to do in terms of our agricultural lands as a whole. We're looking at perhaps moving some of our dairy operations and other agricultural projects there.
Okay, you have plans, okay. All right, the second question is concerning Bryden, AS Bryden. What's happening with the beverage side of it? Are you actually doing beverage? Is it profitable? Are you thinking of reducing the beverage part of things also? What's happening there with beverage, with the AS Bryden? Because I was reading something maybe in the annual report about that part not doing so well.
Well, the premium beverage business, which I think is possibly what you're referring to, is a core part of AS Bryden's. It's a core part of it, and it's something that we are very, very focused on. So it's something that we're going to continue to invest in and grow it. Obviously, AS Bryden's has bought another company, Stanfield Scott, in Barbados, and recently it's just acquired the largest shareholding in CPJ, which is in premium beverages. So our intent is to grow a regional platform on premium beverages and to develop that business even further. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Arthur Ellison. A little while ago, there was a pain in our CEO's pointing out to the public that regrettably some people operating one of your distribution points, or perhaps even more than one, operated some kind of a fraud, which shocked not only him, but shocked pretty much the company. Logically, by itself, I think that wasn't a significant, or that wasn't a major cost to the company. But obviously, it's a situation which I've repeated many times, could become a cause of significant revenue loss to us. May I ask if there was a need, or if you set up a situation that prevents a repetition of such kind of a loss? And is there anything that has been done about what occurred a few months ago?
Richard?
First of all, excellent question, and it's good to see so many shareholders out. I mean, it's you know, the issue of fraud, you know, I mean, it involves collusions all the time, and the system has to be constantly tested and stress tested of our external auditors looking on our internal audit team, of our audit committee of the board, led by former CEO Byron Thompson. And obviously we're constantly trying to plug the gaps. The funny thing is, as you digitize, the ability to actually perpetuate fraud is actually increasing. The level of sophistication involved, as we see every day, all of us facing in the banking sector, everything is, you know, you can't even go to an ATM in peace nowadays, you don't know. So yes, we have risk definitely, and we're actually putting a lot of investment in technology, and also in trying to reduce the number of touch points where people can interface in the decision making, trying to remove the number of paper and manual intervention. I think this is something that keeps me awake at night. I mean, to your point, if it happens once, it can happen many times. And sometimes I don't pick it up until it's too late. So this is a concern. And what I can say we're committed to is working to make sure it happens. I mean, sometimes our audit committee is not happy with the pace at which management is closing some of the loops. But we're working hard to put the investment and infrastructure and the people, the right people in place to close it. So you have my assurance as a shareholder that we're trying to close the gaps. But the company is increasing in size and complexity, and we have to actually improve our muscles at various points to make sure that we're not exposed.
Thank you, CEO. May I ask one other thing?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, Seprod has grown significantly and satisfactorily in many areas. But I noticed now that you've acquired a significant holding in CPJ, and naturally, if that is done, the whole objective is to increase shareholder value. Can we look forward to not only the increase in its shareholder in its share value, and is there any other area that you might want to move into to let us recognize that Seprod is building a future for a lot of people who invest in it? Yeah?
Well, I think the first thing that I'd like to say, Seprod is, we're very, very strategic and careful about what we do. So we are effectively in manufacturing of food products, and we have two areas in which we focus. We're in ingredients, which is flour and cornmeal, vegetable oil, margarine. That is the ingredient section. And then we are in dairy, and dairy is integrated because we have, as Richard said, 5,000 cows and farming in St. Thomas, and a processing plant in Bogwalk that processes dairy. And then we're in distribution. And in distribution, we basically have four strategies. We have healthcare, we're in food, pharmaceutical, and OTC products throughout the Caribbean. We're in food products, so we sell our own food products as well as third-party food products that we're privileged to distribute for companies such as Mondelez and Connor Brothers, etc., Goya, and many others, and Kraft Heinz. And then we're in premium beverage, and for example, we spoke about it earlier. We sell wines,
CPJ,
Diageo, in not just CPJ, but we do that in Trinidad, we do that in Barbados, and now with CPJ, we'll be doing that in Jamaica. And then there's an area that is going to be a growth area for us, and we're going to have some focus on it. And if you think about it, what do we have in Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados? Well, we have infrastructure that services retail, grocery stores, as well as on-premise consumption with liquor and alcohol. And so one of the biggest areas in our region is the hotel trade. We're the Caribbean. We're in the business of hospitality in this region. And up to now, our group has had very, very limited exposure to hospitality. And that is because it's a specialized area. You don't wake up tomorrow morning and go, I'm just going to sell to all the hotel chains in Jamaica and have a hospitality business. How do I know that? Because that's what I thought you had to do. And I failed. We've not made much progress in doing that over the last 10 years. And we've watched other people, well, mostly CPJ, do a tremendous job, an incredible job. They are very specialized. They have incredible talent in the organization. They're very focused on servicing their customers. They have great relationships with their customers. They have infrastructure and warehousing in the right place. And so we're very, very privileged to be able to work with them going forward. And hopefully, we hope to be able to build in Trinidad, in Guyana, or in Barbados, and in other markets, a business that supplies hotels and restaurants in those markets. Because, strangely enough, they're also in the Caribbean, and they have hotels and restaurants, etc., and we have not serviced them traditionally. So we look forward to building that fourth pillar of our distribution business. And that's what our business is. We're very focused on that. And we believe if we do a good job, we will continue to grow. And as Richard said, we want to probably get to $1 billion of revenue, whether that's in 25, 26. But it's not about getting to $1 billion in revenue. It's about adding value, creating value for our shareholders. And anyone can draw a check and buy something. There's nothing magical about that. What we need to do is to be strategic. We need to engage people, retain talent, invest in our people, and develop an organization that people are excited to work at. And as a result of that, add value and grow the business from where we go at $1 billion to $1.5 billion. And that's where we need to get to.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I hope you'll pardon me if I consider, well, putting all my future investment assets along the path that you've just laid.
Wow. Well, that's quite an honor and privilege, and I will just add that to my worries at night. But thank you. Well, that's very kind words you've said there, sir. Thank you.
Morning, Sir Scott.
Morning. How are you?
David O, shareholder.
Yes.
Good to see everybody again. Couple quick questions, 'cause I know time is on us. So, first question, you were just discussing the branching out into the HoReCa space, hotels, restaurants, catering, as part of, your fourth pillar of distribution. So, over the next 2 years, how do you expect to be able to, with the most recent CKP acquisition, how do you expect to, capitalize on it through this new relationship platform that Seprod has?
So, David, you'd be aware, because you do a lot of detailed research, that Seprod is building, well, not really Seprod, but AS Bridens, which is a subsidiary of Seprod, is building a brand new infrastructure facility in center of Trinidad. And we are also building a brand new facility in Houston, in Ghana. And we have several opportunities in Barbados with new warehousing as well. So as we're building infrastructure, we're taking that into account, cold storage facilities, et cetera, to be able to start to onboard those type of products and develop a go-to-market strategy and build those businesses in other markets.
Understood. And, AS Bridens has contributed positively over the last 2 years post-acquisition. So one of the queries that I would have, is considering the platform and scale that Seprod does have now, has it translated to better negotiated terms with suppliers, for example, based on the scale and scope of the combined Seprod AS Bridens group?
I think for us, the business is if you look at our manufacturing business, the manufacturing business naturally gains from scale. The more throughput you put through that facility, the lower your unit cost is. The larger your regional platform is, and the more integrated it is, the easier it is to grow your volumes, because you're basically from the filler to the shelf, regardless of country, controlling the aspects of it, and you can control the chain and the pricing all the way there. And as a result of that makes you more flexible. That will deliver significant benefits and increases in volume, which naturally reduces unit costs. And that we expect to continue to happen. With regard to third-party distribution, look, we are very privileged to be the partners of some of the greatest brands in the world. We don't turn around to them and tell them that we are doing more volumes, therefore we need discounts. That's not how it goes at all. What we try and do every day is listen to what they have to say, build strategies and plans to deliver what they want. And we're very, very focused on delivering what our partners and principals are, what we call our principals, which you may consider suppliers, but because we have exclusive relationships with them, we consider them partners, that we listen to them and we're about executing what they desire. And we believe if we deliver to them what they want, then the business will naturally grow.
Thanks.
I just want to support the chairman on that point. So, we're talking about distribution, etc. But at the end of the day, what are we in the business of doing? We're in the business of satisfying consumer demand, right? Somebody has to eat it. And therefore, you have to understand where the occasions for consumption lie. If you look at, let's take Jamaica, the chairman pointed about the fertility and population. So the population of the local, the local population is stable or declining. But you look at the tourism input and visitors, that's rising phenomenally. So therefore, there's a gap if you're not careful that we're, as the chairman pointed out, we haven't done a great job. I mean, we've heard a lot of good things about what we have done right, but we also have to look at the opportunities where we haven't worked as effectively and where we need to close it. Hence the CPJ move, because that's a space that's growing phenomenally. We all as Jamaicans seen it. And therefore, we have to make sure that in those opportunities, all these rooms coming, all these visitors arriving, that our products have to be there, not just the existing products, but the future products. So I think that's where we're focusing on, whether it's in Jamaica, the region, and beyond. Where do we want our products to be, what occasion? And that's what you're really trying to make sure happens all the time.
Sir Scott, could I ask a question directly to either Mr. Dodd or Mr. Pandowi?
Sorry?
Can I ask a question directly to Mr. Pandowi or to Sir Dodd?
Ask the question and I'll.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So, page 107 for persons who want to look at the annual report. So, your joint venture, Jamaica Grain and Cereals Limited, effectively had almost a 200% plus increase in net profit last year, while revenue was relatively flat. Was that, increase in revenue a reflection of stabilization in grain or wheat prices?
It's a very good question. Richard?
Do you want me to show you?
No, we're fully aware of the economics of Jamaica Grains. Thank
it's
you.
what it is. I will explain. So I mean, it's so the mill is a combination of a number of things, right? You have the retail part of it. For example, the Pronto cornmeal porridge, the retail flour on the shelf, gold seal flour, the cornmeal, quite a bit of export on the feed grain side, outside of the country, and of course, you have the commodity products. So the mill, you have retail, everyday consumer going to the shops and supermarket, and you have B2B, working directly with a lot of other manufacturers. So the business is kind of split between that. So you have a portfolio consideration between the manufacturer, B2B, the retail, and the export. Now, the year before, in looking at year on year, you have to look at the other year before. So the year before which you're comparing, we had significant price changes. But obviously, we're locked into supply agreements with a number of the manufacturers. So we took an incredible margin hit that year, which kind of started correcting itself and replaced with new inventory in 2023. And that is really the reason why.
And it wasn't just to be clear, David, because wheat is the headline sort of item,
corn, yeah.
but it's commodity price plus freight, because the year before there was
absolutely
huge freight increases globally.
Right.
For chartering ships and different things.
And we had said very clearly that we're going to absorb some of those margins in an effort to kind of manage the price to consumers. So I mean, that is on account. That is one of the reasons why I've seen that kind of change. So not that the result is more what you got last year, was more expectation.
Yeah, it's actually probably more like the year before rather than.
You mean 2021 basically?
Yeah, because we had a massive decline.
So there's two more questions basically. So in the Q1, I realized that there was an issue of preference shares as part of a subsidiary acquisition. Was the preference share issue?
That's AS Bryden's.
Yeah, but I'm using Seprod's report to kind of get a glimpse into it, because the AS Bryden doesn't show it as it does in the Seprod context. So was the preference share issue related to the acquisition of the remaining Bryden PI stake?
I don't think we haven't issued the preference shares as yet for what is this in relation to? We issued preference shares in AS Bryden's on the acquisition of AS Bryden's to the vendors. What page is it? It's what? Well, if it's okay, well, if it's the Q1 2024, we can discuss that afterwards if it's not relating to this report, but.
And just one other question is,
sure.
You have manufacturing and distribution as segments on your business. is it that like, for the future, can there be a segment representation for markets to give some further context so that we can appreciate what is Jamaican generated business versus from overseas markets?
Yeah, I mean, I think we wouldn't have the segmentation in the accounting is the segmentation in the accounting as done by the auditors, but in our report, we can split out the revenue and we can show that going forward.
Yeah, because while
Within the context of speaking with friends and shareholders, we're also speaking to competitors at the same time, who necessarily won't be as, information won't be as available. So, you know, we're not going to put everything out there in a very, let them do the work, right?
Yeah.
No, so I'm not trying to get too much information. It's just context as to what is actually happening because, as you can appreciate, for me, it's really juggling some math to understand where the Jamaican business is.
It's about 40% of the entire business is Jamaica, as it stands now.
Appreciated. And then just my final question. So I recall, you mentioned earlier, different warehouses and the impact. Well, I think it's back to Damien. You mentioned earlier the different warehouses that you're developing, one in Trinidad, one in Jamaica. The phase one being in Jamaica.
We've concluded the one in Jamaica has been built. That's done.
So, how much realized savings are you expected to get now with no longer having to do certain warehouse sharing agreements as was indicated in the past post the Facey fire?
Well, I think a lot of those savings would have come last year.
Last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably saved over $200 million in rental in what happened last year with the consolidation of the warehousing.
Right, so we saved, so in effect, the saving was around $200+ million on rental alone, but that was kind of neutralized by other cost increases that we didn't plan for. You had a security increase, you had insurance increase, etc. So nonetheless, it was a benefit to the bottom line because those increases have been not mitigated by that. But starting from around like January last year, I think we spoke about the last AGM, we effectively had a $200+ million less expense on warehouse costs.
Yeah. There's been significant inflationary expenses.
Minimum wage has gone from $9,000 in
security, minimum wage, but we don't pay anyone minimum wage, but we always keep a gap between minimum wage and what we pay people, so that's inflationary.
For the service providers.
Service providers, pass-throughs. I mean, delivery costs. I mean, I cannot explain to you the effect on a business of migration. When you believe you're going to have 100 truckers on a Monday morning to deliver your products, and you only have 75 or 60, and then you ask them, where's this trucker gone? And they're up in Florida moving containers because the amount of money that they earn in Florida could never, so there is a significant inflationary impact from capacity moving to the north. And just generally what has been happening with regard to these minimum increases in minimum wage and security costs. And I think had we not got the savings from the warehousing, I mean, those increases were far greater on us than the warehousing.
Just to complete my point I was asking earlier, so we would have seen up to to Hurricane Beryl, significant demand, Seprod was delivering goods like crazy all over the markets, and we're still in the current hurricane season. So this question that's coming now is, with respect to, what you'd have observed post-hurricane, how resilient is Seprod distribution network, to what would have been observed post-burial?
I'm pausing because it's, it's such a difficult question to answer.
No, because the reason why I asked is not because of light or anything like that.
We were delivering pretty much the next day, I believe. Our IT system came back up at 11 in the morning. We had switched off to our offshore, so we could have been billing from the next morning because it's in our data center in the DR, and so we switched and then we switched back to Jamaica. But there's a time period off the switch off of maybe an hour where you can't bill. But we are subject to the vulnerability of Jamaica, you can't deliver in an area if the road system is not there, and we don't have the ability to get product to places if the infrastructure is there. What we can plan for is our own management team, our own IT systems, our own infrastructure, and I think the CEO did a tremendous job in managing the teams. It's not the first time we've had hurricanes. You know, we're pretty. We've done it a few times, but I think the whole country, we were very, very lucky. Beryl went south, and when you talk about resilience, it's hard. Yeah, you plan for the very best, you fear the worst.
But I just want to point out something to shareholders. It's very important.
Plan your best.
You make the point that we're delivering like crazy, but it's a function of two things. Again, I want to point out why we see us on the shelves and the shops and the supermarkets. A significant part of the business also to other manufacturers. We're a manufacturer for manufacturers. So for example, while the shops are stocking up on perishable items, manufacturers are pulling down in many cases because they have to prepare for a hurricane, right? So you have to understand the mix of the business. Also, what we do is a function of what our consumers can do. So I mean, it's if you look at St. Elizabeth now and those areas, without water, without light, etc., you're going to have very, very limited goods going in for a time. In terms of our resilience, our infrastructure, you speak about distribution, but on Saturday I was at the Surge Island Farms in St. Thomas. We suffered significant damage here. The rivers came down and washed away the canals. We're working non-stop. The teams are working through the night trying to get the water supply going again. So there are many parts to it, but that's a part of living in our region.
Yeah.
It's a part of our vulnerability. You know, we're blessed to live where we live, but it comes with some risk. And we anticipate those and we put things in place and try to recover as quickly as possible. So there are many, many moving parts to this side. And I mean, we hope our farms will back up and running again, but I mean, we have had effect and served many, many farmers. So I'm just saying that the resilience that we're trying to build in, first of all, we have resilience in our management team and our people. We know what we have to do. There are people who spent the entire nights of the hurricane in our facilities so we could respond if we had to, when we had to. There are people who did that. Our system, our infrastructure, we're trying to make sure it's diversified at different points. The chairman spoke about our IT infrastructure. In fact, we could switch off and switch back on, etc. So there's many, many moving side parts to this. And, but every day we have to make it better because, you know, it's a luck of the draw. The season just started and many things could happen. All right, David? All right,
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you, David. Yes.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
All right, I'm not sure if anybody had asked this question or a similar question. Oh, I'm Roxanne Michael, shareholder.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. So, how does Seprod plan to maintain or grow the market share in the face of increasing competition?
We're very much committed to really focusing on the markets that we're in. We have to focus on what we're doing in our execution and ensuring that we can retain and develop great talent within the business. And there's no magic formula to achieving what you're asking. What we have to do is to keep everyone focused on the task, keep a level of intensity around delivering the outcomes, and expect high quality execution. We have great talent in the organization. I think we have great leadership in the organization. I mean, many of you have made some comments about our CEO, and you know, I endorse that. He's a great leader. But there's also other individuals in the leadership that are here today, and they've done tremendous work in ensuring that the business is robust, focused, professionally managed. And one of the things that I think we're all very proud of is that we want to be able to deliver great careers to people to commit to our company and to be able to deliver what people aspire to be able to achieve from their career within Seprod. And at the end of the day, an organization, whether it's called Seprod or something else, it's just a legal entity with some capital and people. And, you know, we have to focus on that.
Okay, one more question. Another concern I have regards to our sustainability and our carbon footprint. Are there any plans to decrease the carbon emission in the atmosphere from your factories?
Well, Richard, you want to answer that?
I should call Marlene to come answer this. But so sustainability is a big part of what we do. In fact, in our annual report, in my own, I think you arrived after I gave my presentation, we spoke about the sustainability. And so a lot of people that we partner with, that's a requirement for us to do business now outside of our own space, right? And it's also a responsibility within our own country.
Yes.
So for example, we're moving from heavy fuel oil to LNG or other things to kind of reduce our carbon footprint. We're measuring all these things.
Okay.
And actually we're certified. Marlon, what's the name of it? Yeah, it should. So we're part of a global certification program when it comes to sustainability. People come in, the audit our factory, and we get certified. So I mean, your company is not a company that's trying to play in a small space, or trying to play in an international space. When we go out there, we have to go with the same certification as a factory from the United Kingdom, a factory from the United States, or from Canada. We have to go out there with the very same attributes. So I mean, we're getting those certifications. I don't know if people even realize that the FDA from the US, they have to actually come down to certify our factories every single year for us to be able to export. So I mean, these are not, we're not just getting up and making things. We have to fulfill requirement as if we are in a people country. It's a big part of what we're doing, putting in resources in place to make sure we do that. Yeah. And
And
Thank you.
It's because it's not just the right thing to do, but the reality is for us to expand and grow, the large customers demand it. They want it because we're an extension of them.
Yes.
So we have to deliver on that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, are there any? Oh yes, Mr. Staples.
One more question here.
Okay, what?
May I sit
Is that a question or a
yes,
comment?
a question.
Okay.
Question. Based on all the challenges that Seprod is having, since the onslaught of the hurricane, and on the fact that the population is depreciating, constant depreciation, and that the tourism product itself is growing by leaps and bounds. How would you rate Jamaica's food security now on a scale of like 1 to 10, and maybe food security within Seprod, because food is what Seprod looks out for. So how would you rate the food security on a scale of 1 to 10 within the island and within Seprod?
I am totally unqualified to answer that question in any shape or form. Mr. Staples? Sorry, page 126.
Page 126. Help me to understand, why is it that management remuneration moved from 283 million to 303 million? Help me to understand this. Management remuneration moving from 283 million.
Sorry, which page are you on, Mr. Staples?
To 303 million. Page 126.
Oh, directors' emoluments, management remuneration from 282 to 303.
So I think I'll add context and then chairman can expound, but recall that 2022 was basically half year for a key subsidiary, Ace Bryden, right? The acquisition was in June 2022, right? So when you look at the numbers in this report, you need to keep that in mind. Right, so 2022 has only 7 months of Ace Bryden.
I'm not happy with that explanation, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I mean, the reality is that, are you unhappy because management expenses have gone up? Is that what you're suggesting, Mr. Staples? because I don't think you can look at it in context in a vacuum. We're consolidating half a year of AS Bridens that we didn't consolidate before, but also, you know, we're happy to pay management more when they're performing better. That's in our DNA, and we'll continue to do that. And when we make more money, we hope our management will be aligned with us and they'll make more money. And of course, then shareholders will make more money. Okay, are there any questions online? There are no questions online. Okay, with there being no questions online and no further questions in this hallway, I move that the director's report, the auditor's report, and the audited accounts showing the position of the company's affairs as of December 31st, 2023, now before the meeting, be and are hereby approved and adopted. Can someone second the motion? Mr. Rose, thank you. We will wait for a vote on the motion. I believe we have to go online for that. And could the company secretary declare the motion approved once it has been done so? It's been approved. Thank you. Election of directors. In accordance of Articles 89 and 91 of the Company's Articles of Association, the following directors are retiring from office and being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. That is Mrs. Melanie Seprod and Mr. Byron Thompson. Will somebody please move that the nominations be made en bloc? Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate that. Thank you. Can someone second? Mr. Rose, thank you very much. Can we have a motion that Mr. Byron Thompson and Melanie Seprod be re-elected directors of Seprod Limited? Thank you. That's Mr. Sorry? Okay, thank you. So Mr. Thomas and second by Mr. Ellison. Thank you very much. And now we will put that online, Mr. Secretary. And we can confirm that they have been voted back to the board. Congratulations to Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Seprod. We look forward to serving with you in the foreseeable future. Remuneration of directors. I move that the amount shown in the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2023 for directors' fees be here and is hereby approved. Seconded, Mr. Rose. Thank you. Seconded. Thank you very much. And we will have a vote. And it has been approved. Appointment and remuneration of auditors. PricewaterhouseCoopers have indicated their willingness to continue in office as auditors. I move that Pricewaterhouse be reappointed auditors for the ensuing year. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Rose, thank you. I now move that the directors be authorized to fix and agree the remuneration of the auditors. Can somebody please second the motion? Thank you very much. And we have to approve this with the shareholders, Mr. Secretary. And it has been approved. Thank you very much, Pricewaterhouse. Dividend payment. The company made the following dividend payments during the year. A payment of 55 cents to shareholders on record as at April 12, 2023 was made on April 20th, 2023. A payment of 55 cents to shareholders on record as at September 4th, 2023 was made on September 18, 2023. A payment of 55 cents to shareholders on record as at December 15, 2023 was made on December 22, 2023. I move that the dividends paid on April 20th, 2023, September 18th, 2023, December 22nd, 2023 be and are hereby approved. Can somebody please second? Thank you very much, sir. And we go to the shareholders. And it has been approved. Thank you very much. Is there any other business that can be properly discussed at this meeting? If there's no other business, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming online and in presence. For those that are present, there are refreshments at the back, and we look forward to talking to you and answering any further questions that you may have. With that, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much and have a great day.
With over 4,000 employees and 85 years of doing good things, the Seprod Group is a US $750 million company providing safe, affordable food products, premium beverages, hardware, housewares, pharmaceuticals, hospital equipment, and supplies in 26 countries across the globe. Our journey has its beginnings in the coconut industry and along the way has grown to span 9 diverse food subsidiaries in Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Cayman Islands. We are proud to be recognized as Jamaica's largest food manufacturer, playing a major role in regional distribution and exports. Our Jamaica operations feature 4 food manufacturing plants and our dairy farms. In Trinidad, our manufacturing focus is on pharmaceuticals, producing top-quality home and healthcare products. Seprod produces some of the most beloved brands in the region, reaching households across the Caribbean, Latin America, the United States, Canada, and the UK. Seprod prides itself on being able to deliver top-quality products through our amazing partnerships with many global brands. Serge Island Farms is the largest dairy farm in the English-speaking Caribbean. We believe that by providing good quality food products to our people, we're playing our part in developing a great nation. The health and the safety of our people are top priorities for us at Seprod. And through our healthcare solutions arm, Facey Pharmaceuticals, we continue to provide some of the world's best healthcare solutions. Facey Pharmaceutical has over 90 years experience in the pharmaceutical industry, building strong collaborative partnerships within the local health sector. These partnerships allow us to expand our footprint in the region to improve the lives of our Caribbean families while driving further growth for our business. 2022 marked a significant phase in the Seprod journey. Through the acquisition of the AS Brighton Group, the company has now expanded operations in several countries within the Caribbean, which practically doubled the size of our operations. This acquisition will become the platform for further growth in the Caribbean and Latin American markets. The Seprod Group's mantra is, must be good. While we have continued to manufacture and distribute top quality products, we remain committed to our corporate social responsibility values by providing support through Seprod Foundation. We operate on 3 distinctive pillars: education, food security, and community upliftment. Our mission is to pioneer innovative programs that not only impart knowledge but leave a lasting impact on the lives of Jamaicans. We are proud to be a major sponsor of the Jamaican Sunshine Girls and their bronze medal run at the 2023 Netball World Cup. The Seprod Group, with humble beginnings in the small island nation of Jamaica, is now a regional player in food and pharmaceutical manufacturing as well as distribution. For further information, please visit us at www.seprod.com. And remember, if it's made by Seprod, it must be good.